Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com, and here is the raw edit of the week number 58. I've been seeing all the edits come in all week long, and we're going to get to Adam's edit after this, but the premise of this one was it's a really great photo, but it's not tack sharp. And I know some people are like, well, if that's not tack sharp, I don't know what is, or I don't know what I've been doing if this isn't sharp, but it's clearly not sharp in the face. We can see that it's just not sharp there, and it's sharp down here in the blades on this plane. Now, the photographer that did take this did email me and mention or left a comment that said exactly what I said in the preview video, was that what happened is the dog probably looked over, the focus was locked in on the person, and then she moved when the focus was already locked in, which caused the focus to miss. Now, let me turn that off real quick. Hold on. Just turning off TweetDeck so those things aren't popping up and interfering with us the whole time. So that's what happened, is the person moved, which caused the focus to shift slightly. And the goal here was to try to still make this a usable image because the subject wants this photo. This is the photo that they want to have on their wall. The thing is, like, if I see a non-tack sharp image, I'm probably not going to put it out there. That's just my style of doing it. If I missed, I missed. I'm probably not going to use it. But with that said, most clients are not going to know the difference between what's uber-duper sharp and this. Now, this isn't terrible, but it's also not tack. So what would I do to edit this? Well, I mean, we're probably going to have to bump the clarity and sharpness a little bit, but we have to be careful when doing that to not overdo the photo, not make it look like it's too sharp. Like with the clarity, if you were to go like this with the clarity, it makes everything all tight and weird, and it doesn't look as good. So, oops, I don't know how I got back to that. Yeah, so it doesn't make it look as good. So that's with the clarity. What would I do to this file to bring it back? Well, first we're going to start with a color. Then we'll probably go to a black and white just to see it. I don't think there's much I'm going to do in here to bring focus back, because you can't do that. Obviously, somebody's like, well, this is why you shoot with a Litro. Exactly, right. Pull back a little bit on this. Exposure, I want to go boom with my boom. A boom, boom, boom. Make my exposure go way-o. Way-o. Boom, boom, way-o, way-ho. Anyway, it needs to be warmer. Take out some tint. Nah, I don't want it to go too green, but I don't want it to be too magenta. I'm liking where that's at a little bit. Just want to I want to be a little bit between. Let's try the dropper and find a white spot here and see where the white balance would go. No. We'll leave it back to this. Clarity. I'm going to go up just a little bit with the clarity, and it looks pretty sharp. If you were to make this an 11 by 14, a 16 by 20, I think you'd get away with it without any problem as the motorcycle goes by. So vibrance, saturation, just a little teeny tiny bit. Just got to see where I want to get my color, where I feel most comfortable with the yellow, because sometimes you can put too much yellow into an image and it just... Well, I do that a lot, but that's just me. Let's go with somewhere like that. So pretty much it's a basic edit right now. Let's see what we can do with sharpening. Let's go boom with that and see what happens. You guys seeing what happens when you sharpen it? You get all this grain, you get all these dots, but it actually doesn't look that bad. Let's pull it back to where it was. We'll go like this a little bit. No, I don't like when the radius goes too high. It makes everything look blotchy. That's just tightening up the detail. That's a little much. It could come in handy in the black and white. Masking is interesting too. It takes away from, when you start to mask the detail, it kind of makes it smoother. It finds out, so it finds out the details that have been brought out, that like these little dots, which I don't mind so much. So we brought that back. I think that makes it pretty usable. That's pretty good. Let's see if, I think a crop may be in order here, because there's some distracting things in the image. Let's see if we could do a post-crop vignette first and see what we can get out of it. That kind of draws you, it always draws you into an image, but I don't like overdoing it. Let's see what kind of crop we could come up with. So we're going to lock the original aspect ratio. See, if I was to shoot this picture, I wouldn't be happy with this crop, first off. And cropping is great for composition learning. I didn't leave enough headroom, and I feel that I need to leave a little bit more headroom to get all the smiling in there. And I want to center this just because the action is right here in the middle. So I want to have I want this in the middle. So I think that is a good a good crop. And boom, there's our crop. It's not too far from the top. Like, this was too close to the edge before. And now we're pretty even on the bottom between the paw and the bottom and the hair and the top. So this is a good composition. It feels nice and balanced. It's nice and nice. I'm defining it by nice and nice. Let's see if I want a little bit more yellow to give it a little bit more warmth. I'm just going to go with that. And I think that's pretty good. So this is part of the way that I wanted to take this image, and I'm liking what we got with it. This is an image that this person would love. So let's save this as a snapshot, number 1. Boom. Number 2, let's go to black and white and see what we come up with. Maybe we'll try a split tone or something. See, I want more tone in this. By more tone, I want it to be thicker. Thicker, but still work. Let's see what the fill light does, followed by some black levels. We're giving it that old world, not old world feel, but it's a very photojournalistic look to it. Medium to strong. That gives me a little bit more boomify in there. And let's see what split toning we can do with some interesting colors to see if anybody would actually like to pick up an image like this. Yeah, I learned this from Adam a little bit. He likes these split tones that give off this crispy feel, and I think that this gives off a crispy feel as well. It's not quite black and white, but it's not quite color. See, that's a sepia look to it. And I like this one. This is more of a gold tinge, silverish, goldish. But I don't want to get too far to the green. And as you go up in the colors, this is more of sepia. I don't like the sepia, it's too strong. But that's interesting. Yeah, you know what? I'm crunching this one. I'm liking this one. And let's see if there's any more tweaking. No, I didn't mean to go up with the black levels. I meant to play with clarity on that one. I don't want to go too far with the clarity. And I don't want to go too far back to make it too glowy McGlowerson. So I'm liking the feel of the sepia here. Or not the sepia, but it's not true black and white because of the little bit of split toning that we did there, but it gave it some dimension. So this is number 2. We'll save it as number 2, and let's look it back at number 1 and see how it is. I'm liking the feel of number 1. Let's look at number 2 again. There's number 2. God bless me. And that's where we're going to leave it. Adam, it is your turn. Let's see what you've got.
Adam Lerner, and welcome to this week's Raw Edit number 58. And this week we have a lovely portrait of a young woman with a dog. Very cute, both the dog and the woman. Really a fun lifestyle shot. We've got some really nice greenery. Got the dog kissing the girl, and she's smiling. It looks like a nice warm day. Not like it's been here in the Northeast. It's been really, really freezing cold. So, this is one of those kind of really nice, pleasing, happy shots. The only thing about this is that the focus is a little soft. It's hard to say why. It looks like maybe it misfocused. Maybe the focus is like right here in the grass, but not on the girl and the dog. It is a little bit of a problem, but it's not problematic enough that, that the file shouldn't be utilized. However, we just have to hope that the photographer knew that the focus was a little off, because here we are, we're shooting at 1/400th of a second. Okay, at a 1/400th of a second, even at 2.8, we should be capturing the motion that's going on here, even if they slightly turned or whatever. Anyway, I like the photo. I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's really sweet. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to really just, bring some more life into this. I feel like it's a little flat color-wise. Obviously, I'd like to sharpen it up a little bit, give it a little more clarity. Just make it look a little bit more kind of like an afternoon light, nice, warm, sunny day. So that's what I'm going to do. let's get started here. So exposure-wise, I'm just masking things off to look at the overexposed areas, and all of them make sense. You know, the dog's face a little bit here. I'd like to bring that down just a touch because I want more detail in there. So I'm just going to bring that down, just going to keep going there. And there we go. I don't mind a little bit of highlights on the top of his head, but I didn't really like losing the detail on his face. Now, again, we still have what looks to be a very flat image. I'm not worried about that. I'm going to actually open it up with a little bit of fill. Hello. There we go. And I'm going to bring in some blacks because right now I feel like, you know, it's again, a little flat, and the blacks are just going to give it more punch, more pop. So I'm masking things off, looking for underexposed areas. And again, I don't mind that areas in here are underexposed because those are shadows. They're supposed to be underexposed. I'm just going to keep doing something like that. Just kind of bring it in like that. I'm going to do it a little bit by taste. Yeah, I really like what's happening there. Look at how lush the grass has become. You know, we'll look at the before and look at the after. Okay, there's something really nice and bright about it before, and I don't want to lose touch with that, but I'm just going to keep going with where I'm going with this. I'm going to bring in some more contrast. Yeah, just punch it up a little bit like that. That's nice. More clarity. And already the image is sharper. It's more dynamic. There's more stuff going on here. I'm going to check my exposure again, and you know, I'm just going to bring it up just a little bit. Yeah, I don't mind it like that. You know, we'll keep it as such. Okay, so let's sharpening. Now, granted, there's not much that's fully sharp on the on these two right here. I'll just pick this area right here. You know, and I will bring this up, and I'll get it to that point about there. And I'm going to mask things off, so I'm going to sharpen the edge detail and not the textures so much. So we'll go up to about there, like that. That's really taken some nice shape. Let's look at the before, and let's look at the after. You know, we lost a little bit of detail in there, so I'm going to continue to work on this. Now, we've got these nice, like, highlights of sun kind of like washing through the image over here. A little bit hot over here. Might have to address that. But, you know, the way it's picking up over here is really nice. However, it's a little bit cool, so I want to warm things up, and I'm going to go to the color temperature, and I'm going to warm that up. Wow, look at that already. How nice is that? That's really, really nice. Now we've got kind of more of a sense of time of day, and her skin tones just look a little bit more natural. I'm really liking what's happening with that. Okay, terrific. Now, the other thing here is that this little bit, I don't know exactly what this is. This bugs me just a touch. I don't know if that's her bag, whatever it may be. I wouldn't mind addressing it because other than that, you know, it's nicely composed. I find that to just be a little bit distracting. So let's just see what happens with the crop. Now, if we go into here, we just slide things just over a touch. Let's just kind of keep playing with this. I'm also going to lose that overly exposed bit in the front. I kind of like where that's headed, you know? We've kind of, shifted these guys a little bit to the left of the frame. The motion of the frame is kind of going left, so it kind of works really nicely. I don't want to cut off too much of the dog's legs, although they're kind of hidden in the grass, so that can work. You know, I don't mind that at all. Now, for whatever reason, I'm thinking this needs a little touch of a vignette here. So let's go down there. We'll do some post-crop vignetting, highlight priority. I'm just going to do this completely by feel. Just like that. That's about all that I want to do. And the midpoint, let's just play with that a little bit. Yeah, we can open that up just a touch. I just want a real touch of this, like not a whole lot. Somewhere around there for the roundness, and we'll just feather this out. That's nice. And look, if you look at the before and the after on the vignetting, it's a pretty subtle difference, but to me it just kind of brings things in a little bit. You know, if we really wanted to get, you know, kind of crazy with this, we'd open up the masking tool, we'd go into the burn, and, you know, I'd maybe bring this to like about there. I'd just darken this area just a touch. It's just a little bit hot. I'm going to go into my overlay and just to see what I'm doing in here. You know, and the nice thing about using the overlay is that you really see the areas, so that if you accidentally, you know, go like whoops and you like swoop over a part of the image, okay, you can undo that and know that you won't have some weird kind of, you know, abstract bit over there. So let's just close the overlay, and I'm just going to bring this down just even a little more. I don't want it to look like it's been done. I just want to kind of add a little bit to it, you know. Just bring that in over there. Bring that in like that. Something like that. You know, it just just draw more attention and focus to our subjects here. Maybe in there. Let's look at the before and after. I like that. I'm just going to bring this exposure up just a little bit because I feel like it's a little much. And I'm going to actually leave it right there. I'm going to close that. And I'm just going to bring up the exposure just a touch because it looked a little dark to me. Just pop it up to about there. All right. I think that I'm pretty cool with this image where it is right about now. I'm just going to check out one thing. If I center these two a little bit more on the frame, what that's going to look like. Yeah, it's not actually so bad. Let's just bring that over here like that. Just bring that up somewhere in there. I think I'm going to stick with that as my final edit. I think that's where we're going to go with this. It's still a little hot right there. Let me just bring that up. Okay, that one blade of grass is gone. So there we go. That is going to be my final edit. I didn't really want to go black and white with this, although, wow, black and white is super, super nice. Darn. Okay, we're going to have to do a black and white. So let's go back to the color. We're going to save this as a snapshot. We'll call it 1, and we're going to the black and white module simply by hitting the V key. Boom, there we are. And wow, look at that. It really just has such a nice look. You know, add a little bit more fill to this. Oh, look at what's going on with her hair. That is just lovely right there. We're going to add a little more blacks just to give it more punch. I like the nice punchy, yet silvery black and whites. More contrast in there too. Yep. Oh, sorry. There we go. Yeah, that's nice. I don't want to lose too much detail. I like what's going on in here. And I'm just going to move this down just a little bit because we moved it up. And I'm going to move it back down to about there. Maybe just add just a touch of highlight. Boom. Something like that. Wow. You know what? Let's just look at the before and after. That is really super nice. It's really taken on a completely different look to it. And it's a look that I kind of like. I'm just going to add a tiny bit of exposure. Somewhere like there. And that, I think, well, let's just split the difference here. That, I think, is going to be, move that around just a little bit to about there. I'm pretty happy with that. I think that's going to be my black and white right there. And I'm going to call that black and white number 2. Now, without really getting into the time that it would take to demonstrate how I created this toning preset, I'm just going to see what the toning looks like. And, you know, to be honest, if I were to be delivering this, I would probably deliver it with this tone. So I'm just going to call that my third edit. I know we didn't really get into it there. It's similar to, you know, what we have there. I just added some split toning over here. Sorry, split toning over here. And it's really not even a split tone. It's really kind of like a singular tone. But it just kind of gives it a little bit of that kind of like black and white sepia look to some degree. So there it is. Those are my edits. So we've got our color edit. We've got our original black and white edit, and we've got our toned black and white edit. And let's go off and see what Jared's got.
Here we are. We're back with the lady with her, I guess it's a pit bull, right, Ad?
Yeah, she looks like a pit bull.
So this was Raw Edit of the Week 58. We both did color. We both did black and white. I'm pretty happy with my edit. And you know what? I needed some encouragement from you before this. We know, right? Well, people don't know that. It's because I was very hesitant to pick a file that wasn't tack sharp, but then thought it would be a great idea that a lot of times people do miss, and we all miss at times because the subject moves, and sometimes I don't use the photo, and I guess maybe it's my own personal preference not to use the photo, but then again, the clients 9 out of 10 times would never know the difference whether it was tack sharp or just off slightly.
I completely agree. I think that there's definitely occasions when, you know, you're going to be using an image perhaps for web or something like that, and if the resolution is not going to be super high, in other words, you're not going to be making a 20 by 30 print, or you're not going into a magazine, it's usable. I mean, granted, I think for you and I, we probably would really be reluctant to use a file like this, but you know, if you were, say, sharing, you know, a folder with a client and there were 20 images and they were just like, we love, love, love this image, you know, it's a tough call to make.
And I'll tell you, when I'm doing weddings, or, you know, I had to learn the hard way that it's okay to show certain images. Like, I have a very high standard for the images that I want to present to clients. But then again, if I don't show an image that they may perceive to be the greatest thing ever, just because maybe I cut off the person's toe or foot or something, it may be an image that they love. And I've run into that in the past, so I've been more cognizant of that when I've edited my my selects for brides and grooms, that if it may not be the most enticing image to me, but it may mean a lot to them. So I've been keeping those in as of late. So Adam, what are your thoughts on these photos? You see all 4 of them here.
Yeah.
Mine are on the left, yours are on the right.
I mean, it looks like we, for whatever reason, did something very similar. We both toned our black and whites. We warmed up our colors. We cropped them. I tried to get rid of that kind of like burst in the that really kind of serious highlight in the very front of the frame. I found that to be distracting. So I darkened it and I cropped it. I like your edits a lot. I think that your color's nice and warm and really gives you more of a sense of time of day. I feel like mine's a bit more neutral. And I think that black and white wise, I was a little bit softer with mine. You can see a lot more of the detail, in her hair and on her skin and on the dog. But the way that you kind of boomified yours, it really pops nicely. So I would just say that I really think the edits are great. And it's like as if, my edits were like, went to 8 and yours went to 10, You just cranked up, up the dial a little bit further, and it looks great, man.
Well, I'll tell you what I did, and I even gave props to you in my black and white section of my video. I'm like, Adam always likes to get these crispy tones, and it kind of takes the black and whites to the next dimension for some reason when you give it that crunchy, that silvery, whatever effects, not silver effects, but just change the tone. And so what I did is I went through the different tones of the split tone and just looked for what worked. And I'm like, Adam likes getting this silvery tone. What would look good in this? And that's what I went with. And also, I think I bumped up the fill light in order to bring the black levels up higher to make it even more boomified.
Absolutely. And that's the nice thing about, when you're doing black and white is that, you have additional freedom, because when you're doing things like that and you're bringing up midtones, you're not affecting the color information. So it allows for you to take those midtones and gradations of color, and now that they're in grayscale, and really kind of add more dimension, more depth to your image, and really nice.
Absolutely. So we're going to wrap it up pretty much there, but I have to give you props for kicking my ass to do this file and to actually keep doing the edits, because you know me with these edits. It's like I want to do them a certain way. And anyway, you gave me a lot of good feedback when we were talking before.
Well, the thing was that when you showed me this image, I responded to it on an emotional level. I felt that this image just exuded such a positive vibe. It's so sweet. It's so nice. I think that, it appeals to such a wide demographic. Like, I don't think anybody could look at this image and not feel good.
Sure.
And the focus a little off, but you know what? Not far enough off to discard the image. So
awesome.
Nice work.
Yeah, nice job there, Adam. Thanks for helping me. And that's what the community is all about. Learning each week about how somebody else does their edits, or getting, when you're down, getting picked up by another photographer who's just going to help you out and get you through whatever hesitations you may have. So great job again, everybody, on 58. Your raw edits of the week are going to be coming up soon in a video, and we'll be back with raw edit of the week number 59 coming up for this week. Adam, we'll see you. I am going to be off to CES, so when this video is on, I'm probably heading to Vegas.
All right. Well, don't spend it all at the craps table.
I won't. All right, guys. We will see you the next time for number 59. Jared Poland, FroKnowsPhoto.com. See ya.